views and opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever time zone you may be in. You're tuned in at the right time, at the right place. This is your host, Andrea James, and you have tuned in to Black Talk Radio Network, and this show is today's entrepreneur. I want to thank my father for waking me up early this morning. He woke me up several times. I don't argue with him. I'm just thankful that he wakes me up. Mommy, daddy, ancestors got an internet radio show, and I think it's doing pretty well. I want to say to everyone that's on the listening line, if you're here for the very first time, or if you are a regular that's tuning in, live your dreams. Never give up. And that's what I'm doing. And today, I am honored to have my king, TJ Loftin. Excuse me. He is a creator of entrepreneurs, not employees. This is our third installment because TJ always has something to say, so you're going to hear from him in the future. So make sure that you have a pen and pad, something to write with. Sit down, strap in, because you're going to come away with something that I guarantee you, my name is Andrea James, that you can use from this day forward. My king, TJ, are you with me?
Yes, I am, my queen. How are you?
I am doing fabulous, my king. Thank you for chiming in on this Black Heritage Celebration Month. We have to change that because people have said this Black History Month is about dead history, so we're changing it to Black History Heritage Month. Am I right?
Absolutely.
And that's what you and I are doing, and all of those us who we listen into and hear from the beating drums of the ancestors, that they are they've gone before us, and at some point we will be ancestors, hopefully many, many, many years down the line. But we're living proof now of listening to our ancestors, as you have, TJ, in what you're doing. And I thank you again for stepping out on faith, creating entrepreneurs as you, and possibly millionaires, quiet as it's kept. I know you're not bragging about that part. But the fact that in so many industries, you can take just the idea, and before you know it, you've given somebody a company. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Or company idea. So this subject today is creating, financial solutions for 2017. And again, it's an ongoing series of how we can change the no's to yeses and put one foot in front of the other. And that's what you do on a daily basis. I don't see how you do it, TJ. You're all over the place. But you have to be where you are in order to do what it is you do. Is that right, my king?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel
Well,
like every time I
today,
come, go ahead.
today's, please, how do you say it? Share with us financial solutions, and you're getting ready to say that each day.
Maybe
The stage
say what?
is yours. My king, the stage is yours.
Oh, today I wanted to talk about financial solutions, meaning they have a lot of people out of work. You know, what is it over? They say 74% of college-educated people are out of work, so that's totaling like a little over 2 million people. So people are looking for solutions, meaning there's not a lot of people hiring, so we need solutions out there. So I decided to just talk about the industries that I know the best. So I want to talk about what's going on in America right now. We got a new person in office, president, and he's a land developer. So I look around the country, and I see nothing but massive construction projects going on. So that brings me to think about all the jobs that are being created that, most people don't qualify for because they don't have the life skills. They don't know anything about a lot of them don't know anything about the trades. So they're bringing foreigners over here to fill those jobs, plumbing, welding, carpentry, etc. There's a mass hiring right now going on. There's over 101 construction projects in downtown LA alone, not counting the things going on with the Rams over there on Century Boulevard, building that Rams and Charger Stadium, and all the other facilities that's going up around the area. So I wanted to talk about, the wealth involved in carpentry, in construction. So you familiar with that industry, Andrea?
Just a little bit, but I have seen for myself, and I hear other people across the country, not only here in California, but across the country where construction is going on, that they're not hiring the local minorities right there in the area. They're bringing construction workers in from other counties, other cities, and other states, but you have qualified construction workers right here and in different cities and states, and it's just really are you it's as if we're invisible. So I know that they're speaking up about this, and it's something that we definitely have to form our own unions, our own companies, and rectify this. But at the same time, land development, buy the land so we can build our own buildings.
Absolutely. So that's what I want to talk about. To be honest with you, I don't want to be negative, but I'm kind of happy they're not hiring people, because it was situations like that when I didn't get certain, jobs or certain things that I wanted that forced me to go think outside the box and create my own. So I look at that situation. When you learn carpentry, you may not get a job in it as an African American, like you just said, Andrea. But if you start your own business, oh my goodness, the wealth involved in carpentry, meaning, for example, I was living in Palmdale between the years of 2002 to 2006. And that just happened to be the fastest growing city in America at the time. So what I mean by the fastest growing city, it means they were developing. They put more new structures out there than anywhere else in America, so I heard. And because of all that construction, you had contractors who would normally, you can hire them to go add on a room or remodel your house for you, or you can pay them to build a house for you. Those contractors closed their doors to the public because there was so much work, meaning they realized that, hey, we can build houses and sell them ourselves and make all the money. We don't have to work for anyone. We make more money building them ourselves. So I looked at that and said, wow, the door is wide open for anybody to pull up with a Pinto, a 72 Ford Pinto with a toolbox in the back and the saw and the hammer, and say, hey, I can build your house for you. as long as they knew how to do the work, they got the big jobs. Meaning they were like, people, you can build my house for me. You know, I'll give you the $200,000. I'll give you the $800,000. So I look at all the things that I was doing. For example, I started building houses out there in that area, the 2002, 2006 area. So I looked at, for example, when you build a house, first thing you do is you lay the foundation. You buy your land, then you turn around and you start dealing with all these different contractors to come out and put the concrete down. Then you turn around and you have to frame it. So I look at the framing of a little 1,600 square foot house, for example. I'm talking about a guy showing up, maybe 4 guys showing up, and they have a bunch of wood, which the wood place drops off the big truckload of wood. They deliver it to you. Say, for example, Home Depot. You go to Home Depot, order the wood, and they deliver it to your location. Then you got 4 guys over there with tool belts and hammers, and they're literally just hammering all day. And they charged me like $7,000 to $12,000 to frame up a smaller house. So we're talking about they're only there for like a week maybe. So they made $12,000 to $14,000 for a week's work, and then that was just labor. You see what I'm saying, Andrea? Andrea, that's just labor. Then you hang up the phone. Then those guys leave. Then you call over your say, for example, you call over a plumber. He comes over and he plumbs the house. He may charge you additional $8,000, and you go buy all the supplies, and the majority of that's labor. So then you call up your electrician, and he may charge you $8,000 to electricity, put electricity throughout the whole house. And I'm telling you, that's with me buying all the supplies, and they're just walking away with labor. So people don't. So now imagine when you're building 4 and 5 houses, and you're keeping these same guys with you. So I say all that to say is there is so much wealth involved in carpentry if you own your own business. So I started guys off that I was working with. These guys will start off with little raggedy Toyota pickup trucks. By the end of that season, these guys had $80,000 dualies, and they were no longer working. They just having their employees show up. And I'm like, where's Hugo? Where's Carlos at? Oh, he's at his house in Jamaica. He's at his house in Mexico, and we're just working. He got a bigger house in Palm Springs somewhere. I'm like, wow. They made so much money within that 4 years. And I'm excited about it because now I see that history is repeating itself tenfold here in Los Angeles County now, here in L.A. With all this gentrification and redevelopment, they are tearing these houses down and putting new houses up, putting new apartment buildings up, putting new hotels up, putting up new, new condos, new townhomes. There is just so much construction going on.
Well, let me just add this. I just got a message saying that there is a disproportionate number of felons in our community due to drug war targeting. Construction businesses pay higher insurance premiums when hiring felons. This is what a black construction business owner told me. This is Scotty Reed that sent this to me. This is what a black construction business owner told him when he interviewed him about the business but he hires felons to help them despite his higher insurance rate.
That's how they lock people out of the industry, But here's the thing. You only need insurance when you're working for someone else. When you're dealing with a bank and you're trying to get money from the bank, that's a totally different animal. So, for example, if you're building, what I did is you start building small, meaning, for example, like I was saying earlier, Palmdale, those areas, you go up there and buy you a piece of land for $6,000 or $7,000, and then you have people who literally are paying cash to build their houses because you figure They sell their house in Los Angeles for $600,000 or $700,000. Then they move up to Palmdale or Riverside, Moreno Valley, or whatever, and they build a house cash money. You don't have to worry about insurance and felons because you're fronting all the cash yourself. So as long as you're starting small, you build up, and when you become the bank, you're not locked out yourself. So I tell people, long as we keep going through doing things as a big company or looking for big government contracts, that's when they play the felon game on us. Oh, well, we're not going to give you the money. We're going to charge you more because you have felons. Well, that's when you need their money or you need their contract. But when you're building houses yourself and selling houses yourself, you don't play those games. You don't have to worry about it. You hire who you want. I had plenty of felons working with me.
Well, it seems as if what we're doing with this current situation with construction and gentrification, which is going on probably almost 10 years now across the country, we are being served lemons, and we're creating the best lemonade going. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely.
Kind of put it in layman's terms. I love lemonade.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's even though they say, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna fix them," yeah, we fix them right back in giving them a spoonful of their own medicine. My question is, in building these buildings, are they buying the land, and actually, who's going to live in these dwellings, and are they affordable for us?
Yeah.
The homeless, the senior citizens, low-income housing? Is that where some of the funding are guaranteed that when they build these skyscrapers that they have that agreement that there's people that are going to be taken off the street? Because there's still so many homeless people, but if you have these high-rise and there's nobody to live in them, but if the government can come in and subsidize for the people that are homeless for financial planning or down and out, but it's there's got to be a solution to that problem as well on the other end of the spectrum, where you have these high rises, but just blocks away you have homeless. Although I hear that Eric Garcetti is really doing a lot to clean up the homelessness. Is this part of what these new high-rises are being built for?
No. The government, I don't want to go into that part, but there's no one.
Okay.
It's going to take us. It's going to take us to help us. They're not going to put any homeless people in these high-rises. I know of someone who's helping people with Section 8 to get in those high-rises because every building has the government places these low-income homes on all these contractors, meaning you have to put some type of low income in this high-rise. So if there are 200 apartments in that unit, 5 of them have to be low income, for example. So literally now you have to know how the paperwork goes in the game, how that works out to fill out that paperwork so that you can be accepted. And if you think about, there's over 113,000 homeless people in Los Angeles, and I don't know how many people on Section 8. You got to be on Section 8 to even qualify to rent one of those places. But getting back to that felon situation, I look at knowing carpentry, for example, because of all these people are building these homes, I look at the simple fact that if we learn carpentry and learn how to work with wood, for example, when you're building a house, you're going to go buy cabinets for that house. You talk about kitchen cabinets. You're talking about cabinets in the hallway. Some people want cabinets in their shelving in their closets for their shoes and clothes. Learning how to those cabinets are expensive. You turn around and buy kitchen cabinets and counters for a 2,200 square foot house. You may spend upwards of $22,000 to $30,000 on a regular house. Now, if you talk about you got a 5,800 square foot house, and they want custom cabinets with designs and bevel moldings or whatever on the ends of them, you may spend $70,000, $80,000 for custom cabinets. So literally, we can teach these convicted felons how to make these cabinets in their garage at their mother's houses, literally. And they can supply the builders to put in these houses. So when I'm building houses, for example, when a person is building houses, people don't ask who made those cabinets. They say, I want cabinets that has these bevels on the ends, that has granite on the top. I want the sliding drawers. They don't ask, is that a Gucci cabinet, or is that a name brand cabinet? They just want what they want it to look like and have all the bells and whistles. That's it. So literally, we can have people sitting, these felons or even anybody, college graduates, anybody, people who decide they're not going to college, they can sit in the garage, or we can rent buildings and teach these young people how to make cabinets, make those shelving for people's closets. And that's a 6- and 7-figure-a-year business. Once you teach them how to do it, it's over. They'll never ask you for help again.
There again, that goes right along with what one of your mottos that people are knowing you by. You create entrepreneurs, not employees. I think
Absolutely.
It's possible that we have a question from a caller from the 626 area. Are you there, caller?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am. How are you this morning, my queen?
Okay, I'm doing good. I wasn't sure if it registered. I was tuning in. This is just basically, I was going to jump in on your subject about they're building these places, but then there's nobody, they qualified. And as a matter of fact, they cut out, I think with POTUS 45, they've even cut out the Section 8 part of it, or the low-income part of it, or even for people who are just on pension and Social Security and just, want to get into these places. But you're saying that the felons with no schooling, or the felons they're certified and they give this quality stuff, because sometimes we will get in there without the knowledge or education or building up the code. So these are felons without the education, or just somebody on the street teaching them how to make a cabinet. That's number one part of that question, the questions I have. So I'm just trying to understand this entrepreneur thing, and you got to get somebody, get them in the garage, help them build a cabinet. Are these certified? Because I go to these places and they say they have to be bonded and certified and this and the other, and they got to be inspected, and if it's not up to code, so that's why they have to hire everybody, because we don't go out and get the education. So how does that work?
Well,
Hello?
First of all, you can go take a carpentry class at any of the local, not any, but I think it's Trade Tech or especially, I believe it's Maxine Waters. They have those classes where you can take carpentry. But the problem is most people don't want to take those classes. But outside of that, yes, you can teach a convicted felon in the garage or a young person, 9 years old, how to make those cabinets. And again, it's up to you. If you have $6,000 and you decide that, hey, I want to redo my cabinets in my house, and the young man next door has been making them in his garage for the last 6 years, are you going to go over there and ask him, hey, are you bonded and all of this good stuff? Or are you just going to pay him the $6,000? Or are you going to go pay the $15,000 for the bonded guy to come put the same cabinets in? That's my question for you.
Okay, my question is, my house burned down. I was homeless for 6 months because the unscrupulous people who got my money. I was crazy enough to give the contractor all the money, and then I
don't think you didn't answer my question. The question was, would you pay the young man in the garage that you seen next door that's been doing it? Okay, so, well, this conversation is on solutions, actually. We're speaking about solutions. We're not speaking about all this extra stuff. I want to stick to the solutions because we all know the problem. So my goal is to put the solutions out there so we can implement the solutions so that we can fix the problem.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That is good.
Yeah, so construction and carpentry, that is a pathway to success. So whatever it takes for us to figure it out, It's my goal to come in and tell us what the solutions are, and it's everyone else's goal to do the rest of the research.
Right.
And find out what does it take to make you fit in where you want to fit in with it. Like I said, you got people who are sitting in their garages. You got Hispanic brothers sitting in their garages making cabinets, don't have any type of permits or anything, and they're making 6 and 7 figures a year. So now when we talk about African Americans, now we got to have a permit. We got to do this. We got to forget all of that. You know,
exactly.
You do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. If you want to go after those big contracts and deal with banks, then you got to go get the proper paperwork and the proper certifications. So my thing is, give the people the right information. And a very lucrative career in the era of Mr. Trump is carpentry, and one of the biggest industries that are very affordable to get started at home, in your garage, in your carport, on the side of your house, is making cabinets. That is a very lucrative industry.
Now, I'm playing the devil's advocate because I totally agree with you. And as far as teaching our own, the thing is teaching our own and trust each other, because we'll go out to all of these places. I'm talking even other things like wig stores and stuff like this and blah, 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 and they will mistreat us and won't go to ours we don't trust. So that trust issue.
Oh.
So you hit it right what I wanted to get out there to hear. And I'm talking about, too, why can't we all pool our money? Can't we get 1,000 people with $100 or, 2,000 people with $100 or $1,000 each and get together and fund our projects, like this, and teaching our kids and buying all of that? Why can't we trust each other for that, too? Because we need money, and everybody don't have a house to sell.
Well, I'm glad you say that, because we are doing that. You just have to find out the people who's doing it. We can't say we're not doing it. There are a lot. We don't personally know everybody in America to say no one's doing it. I hate when people say stuff like that. Nobody's got business. Nobody owns this. Nobody's doing that. We only have 4 billionaires. How do you know, is my question. Do you know every individual person in America? Do you know their financial situation? Do you know what they're doing? No, we don't. So I always say there are people doing everything. We don't have a money problem. We have a communications problem. That's the only thing that Black America has. We have people out here doing the great work. We have a lot of people out here doing the great work. So it goes back to the solutions again. The solutions is finding out. We're communicating right now, so I'm telling you what people are doing to make money. So getting back to it, we have another lucrative industry, which, like right now, I see. You got people who, I go through L.A. when I'm walking in the morning, and I see a lot of people they're out there hand watering their grass. And they don't have water sprinklers. They got technology now. You just literally set buy a water sprinkler system and set the dates and times, and boom, your grass waters itself. And you go to Home Depot, for example, and you buy that whole system to water your grass. It'll cost you about $300 for all the plumbing, all of the device that goes on the house, that plugs into the electricity, and 99% of that is labor to put it in. So someone may say, hey, I'll charge you $8,000 to put that water sprinkler system in your front and back of your house. We're talking about $7,000 is labor. So literally people go get a shovel and dig a trench all around your property, front and backyard, and lay some pipe down. And then turn around, put the little pop-up sprinkler head. And we don't need no certificates, nothing for that type of stuff. That's something that a person can learn.
On that note, it sounds like we're going to be taking a station break. So when we come back, we're going to switch back to financial solutions for 2017.
Great.
And thank you, caller, for that. Thank you for that question. This is Today's Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Andrea James. We will be right back.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Give up on my way home.
Black Talk Radio since 2008, providing new black media for the masses.
Okay, thank you for staying right where you are. Make sure that you're taking notes. But we're going to get back on the topic here, and I thank you for those questions. Financial solutions in 2017. So no matter what's being handed out, we are smart enough people, and TJ Loftin is an example of that, of finding solutions to the problems that are going on right now. So continue, TJ, with, and I think that's some wonderful, wonderful ideas, and it really doesn't take a lot to say, gee, if I'm making cabinets, why don't I turn around and help somebody else, or if somebody's something that they want to do, open up your mouth and ask questions, because a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So please continue, my king.
You know, I look at myself when I was growing up. You know, I was sitting there and I learned how to work on cars, and the neighbors saw me working on my car all the time. So they were like, TJ, can you change I saw you change your brakes. Do you think you can charge me to change my brakes? How much would you charge me? You know, and it'll be like, I'm not, certified or have a license or anything. And they were like, well, they're $300 to do that type of stuff at the dealer, but I'll do it for $60. And that $60 was a lot of money for me. So by them saying, hey, I'm going to let my neighbor do it because I know he can do it. He's a pretty good guy. I've been knowing him since he was 12, All of a sudden, look what happened to me. I grew up to own one of the most successful lowrider shops and auto restoration shops in the world at one time. So all because of people said, I'm going to take a chance on that young man because I know he could do the work. He's not insured. He's not bonded and all of that good stuff. And if he doesn't do it right, hey, I can go repay. I'll pay somebody else to do it, because I just want to see him. I want to inspire that youth. And I appreciate those people who took the time out and said, I'm going to take a chance on TJ. If they had not took that chance on me, I would have not be sitting here right now today telling you guys where the money is and how to create wealth. I would have not been able to hire all those employees that I hired over my lifetime. I would have not helped all those people start businesses because I wouldn't have grown. So that's the same things that we have to do is start back hiring our young people. I had people paying me, giving me the $20 handshake. TJ, can you come over and help me clean my garage out for $10? Oh yeah, heck yeah. I'm 10 years old. Heck yeah, I'll do that. All of a sudden, he gives me that $20 handshake. I shakes my hand, said, thank you, TJ. Here's your $10. I get down the street and look at it. It's a $20 bill. I'm like, whoa, So we got to go back to those days. It's like right now, I'd love to pay some young man or woman to come out here and rake my leaves up in front of my house every Friday. Matter of fact, can you come out here and take my trash cans out for me? So getting back to it, welding, for example. When you look at these houses, just the houses that are here in Los Angeles, I see bars everywhere. I see bars on the windows. I see wrought iron gates around these houses. I see electric gates that open up, and that's all welding. That's literally go to the welding store at the corner or something and buy some supplies. Welding, when it comes down to making wrought iron gates, that's like a good 1 or 2 hours class of learning how to weld, and then the rest of that's all labor. You buy the parts for a little bit of, I'm talking about like what, $500, $1,000, and you charge someone $8,000. And the lesson that it would take you, I think I learned how to weld in 45 minutes in my friend's driveway with the welder that cost $200. You got Harbor Freight sells welders. The cheapest welders are at Harbor Freight. Then you got Home Depot sells welders, or you can go to Airgas. The cheap welders are like $100, and the best welder for welding a wrought iron gate is like $500 or $600. So we're talking about literally we can help our young people out and say, hey, you can start welding and putting up some of these wrought iron gates. So if I hire a young man and have him put up my fence outside of my house and he charges me $4,000, but the Hispanic guy wanted to charge me $12,000. Immediately, the rest of the neighbors on the streets are going to see him do that, and they're going to talk and spread the word that he charged her $4,000, and you're going to have about 8 other neighbors going to say, well, I want that gate too. I want a gate just like that. I want one a little better than that. I want one way better than that, and that young man is going to be busy. And then the next thing you know, he's not going to get out of that neighborhood because he's going to be on the next block, and you're going to be like, wow, now he's hired 6 of his friends. And literally, you can walk back into Home Depot and ask a bunch of questions and say, whoever sells you anything, they're going to tell you how to use it. So I have learned so much from walking into Home Depot and saying, hey, I want to put these water sprinklers down in my yard. I can't afford to pay nobody else. How do I do it, and what do I need? And they tell you everything you need to know. I want to buy a welder, and I want to weld some wrought iron gates in my front yard, and I don't know what to do. They're going to sell you everything that you need and tell you how to weld. They're going to give you, you can go on YouTube and take a look at this class, and it teaches you what to do. You know, it's just that simple. It's very simple now.
Speaking of that, we have a caller out of Miami, Florida. It's area code 305, last 4 digits, 3979. Thank you for calling in. Are you there?
Yes, absolutely. Good morning to you all. This is Devin in Miami. How are you today, Andrea?
Good morning. Thank you for calling in, Devin.
All right.
Do you have a
TJ,
question for our guest?
Yes, I do. I was just paying attention to the broadcast, and, you know, one of the things that I noticed, or have you ever done work out east, like in the Florida area?
No, I have never been to Florida, actually.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we have, like, out here, like when you go to Home Depot, I don't know how it is out there in L.A., but here in Miami, for instance, when you go to Home Depot, you'll see, like, at least, like, 30 guys of Hispanic descent that are prepared to do, work for the customers. So my question is, how do you compete against a group of individuals that are daily at the Home Depots, the lumber liquidators, prepared to do work for pennies on the dollar when you're trying to, start an upcoming successful business and trade?
Well, here's the thing. Those guys are not over there doing the work for $10 anymore. That was in the 80s. Those guys are getting paid. They know what it costs now. They know what that stuff costs. They're like, this is an $8,000 job. I'll do it for $7,000. They're not out there saying, give me $800 and I'll do it. They're getting paid. They got trucks around the corner or in the parking lot. They are ready to go. Some of those guys are, they're all non-documented, and some of them are documented. But long story short, they're not out there doing work for cheap anymore because they know we don't know how to do the work. So they're ripping people off. Trust me, I see this all the time. I used to go back in the 80s and pick up 10 guys to do little lightweight jobs just because I say, I can knock this out in 10 minutes. Now you go there, they're like, they want to make $100 a day just to go help you move something. They're not playing anymore. So we're not necessarily trying to compete with them. We're just pricing it out right.
Okay. Another concern that I had in regards to, getting into carpentry is what we find here in the Miami market is, let's say you go to the white customers in your neighborhood, like in our neighborhood, if we were prepared to do work on homes in our personal neighborhood, we find that the homeowners here would much rather go to Home Depot or lumber liquidators and pay them, let's say, $100 when we're charging them, let's say, $30 for some type of work on the home.
Well, remember, I don't know if you caught the situation, the conversation earlier. I was saying that during 2002 and 2006, we had a construction boom. And all the people that you can go to that would hire them to do work for you, they closed their doors to the public, saying they are making more money working on their stuff than they are working for the public. So that opened the door up for the little man to come in. So right now, the door is wide open for the little man to come in and do the work because of all the construction. They removed all the little people out and knocked them out the box. That's why I'm on the phone now doing this solution, saying we have an amazing opportunity right now to go in there, learn these trades really quick, and turn around and start building, because we're being overpriced. Just like in the mechanic world, we're being overpriced. Why? You know, they're charging people $500 and $600 for brakes, where you can do brakes for $50. Why? Because we don't know how to do the work. So they know their only other option is to go to a shop that's going to charge them $400, or go to the dealer that's going to charge them $700. So they're like, we'll do it for $350. When again, you can do brakes for $50 or $80. So the door is wide open now. You know how you get people in there, you bait them off, you bait them in cheap, and once they get all the business and we ran all the little people out, now we can jack the prices up. Well, the prices are superly jacked up. Now the door is wide open for us to go ahead and retrain our young people and get the right trades and go in and make all the money, period.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. And my final question is in regards to convicted felons, because we have a tremendous amount of our youth and adults that are convicted felons here in the Dade County area. You know,
absolutely.
So
California as well.
My concern with that is I've always heard from the time I was a teenager, in order to make money, you have to spend some money. So if you're a convicted felon and you're trying to get into, let's say, as you said, custom cabinetry, and you have the skills that it takes, where are you going to get the capital, or how do you get the capital started to get the materials that you need to make this custom cabinetry?
Okay, I'm glad you put it that way. I'm a construction guy. When I want some work done, well, I used to be a construction guy. I've been teaching lately, so I've been doing all this teaching. But when I was doing the work, I would hire people to do things. So if I knew you knew how to do the labor, or if I wanted to teach you how to do it, I'm going to pay for that stuff. I'm going to go to Home Depot or the construction supply store with you and buy everything you need and bring it back to my location and let you put it together at my location. Okay. So there's no need for that guy to come out of pocket. To me, that's the backwards way of doing business that America does. I see America, I'm not trying to bang it, talk about the country, but I see people doing business backwards, meaning I'll come to you and say, hey, I need $50,000 worth of cabinets in my house. And then you say, okay. The way society says, oh, you need to go to the bank and get a loan for $20,000 so you can go buy the supplies to build those cabinets so that you can come back to TJ and make his $50,000. Well, that's backwards. If TJ comes to you and say, hey, I want you to do my work and build my cabinets, you better ask me for a half deposit. Or say, go buy the supplies and I'll start working on it. Period. This is what made eBay very successful. You pay for what you want. If someone says, hey, I want to buy your product, they pay for it first. They do on an honor system, a credit system. I mean, not a credit system, but an honor system. You're familiar with eBay, right?
Absolutely. You
pay for what you want first, then we'll ship it. And that's how I grew up doing business. I'm not going to go borrow some money from someone else because you promised me that you wanted to buy something. If you want to buy it, you better leave me a deposit on that, or I'm not doing the work, plain and simple. So they should not have to go looking for capital. Period.
Okay. Understood. So it's just developing business smarts in the correct way of moving forward, doing small business and growing into large business.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you to the answers to my questions, and I'll go ahead and stay tuned. If I develop any more questions, I'll give a call right back. I'm listening live on the computer.
We appreciate you calling in, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andrea.
So basically, also another great career, another great business opportunity that's very affordable is concrete. Laying concrete is like making a cake. I call it making a cake. You dig the hole, you put the wood around. Say, for example, if you want to make a sidewalk, in front of your house, you literally dig the little hole, maybe 2 feet down or something like that. You turn around and decide how deep you want the concrete to be, or how do you want it to be. put some little cheap wood up and frame the outside. You go buy the concrete from Home Depot or whatever the construction supply. Ask them, what does it take to lay this concrete in my yard? And they will give you a class right there on the spot. And then they also have classes at the Home Depots and places like that, if I'm not mistaken. I see those classes all the time where they say, oh, we're having a this type of class or that type of class. So literally you can go in there. They want to sell those products. So you literally can go in there and ask them, how can I lay concrete? What do I need? They're going to rent you everything you need to do the labor on it and sell you the stuff that you need to lay it. So literally, if someone quotes you $12,000 to lay a driveway, or not a driveway, but a sidewalk in front of your house or something, you literally can go to Home Depot and ask them, what do I need to do and how do I do it? And they will tell you. So literally, you buy a bag of concrete, pour it in that mixer, add water, turn around and dump it in that hole, smooth it out. And, hey, it might not look perfect, but guess what? By the time you've done 2 or 3 of them, it's going to look perfect. That guy's going to tell you exactly how it works, and before you get done with that project, the front of it may not look so great, but the back of it is going to look perfect because you've figured it out how to do it the right way. Have you seen any concrete laid, Andrea?
Personally, I have not. But my question to you now is, and it's a lot of these DIY, which is do-it-yourself, and they have experts in there to tell you exactly what you need to do. So they're also giving you opportunity to do what you need to do to start your own business. The labor part of it is. But what about women? Women in construction, women in carpentry, women in cabinet making, women in laying concrete. Are there women out there doing this?
Absolutely.
And if so, okay.
Absolutely. I see women popping up in places I least expected. Women are not being held back no more. That's why I see I saw a survey, they said there are more women entrepreneurs popping up. So I see this, I'm seeing things that I normally didn't see over the decades. So I'm excited about it. I see people doing it. Whenever I see people starting businesses, matter of fact, I coach so many different women, it's not even funny. It's like, wow, women are really taking a stand and learning this stuff because women are the ones who are doing a lot of spending as well. So because of the high amount of our black men incarcerated, that's leaving women out there alone. So they're stepping up to the plate for the task, asking. That's who fills up those classes at Home Depot. Women, how do I hang my ceiling fan? I want to do it myself. And they're sitting in that class. How do I, fix this closet door, put these closet shelves in these closets? I bought the kit, but how do I put them together? They have a class, and they have a bunch of women sitting in those classes. But once you learn how to do that, once you do yours, it's over with. You can do everybody else's and make a great living.
Well, that's another way of creating entrepreneurs, not employees. And I see we have a caller out of Riverside, California. Caller, are you there?
I am here. Yes, I am. I wanted to ask you, I have different type of experience, and I don't know to be, like the way you say, I go to Home Depot. It's not that simple. My experience has not been that simple. I see things that I want to do, I ask, and then they refer me to outside people. So I don't know to be as simple. So I'd like for you to explain and tell me what you have done to make it so simple. It does not seem as simple. Can you explain?
Well, it's simple if they're teaching the classes. You find out which classes they're teaching. I don't know what projects you were working on, but a lot of things they have classes. But now I have noticed certain things that they're doing, they'll turn around and say, if they're offering it, they're not going to have a class teaching it. Meaning if Home Depot is saying, hey, we do, cabinets, for example. They say, hey, we sell cabinets. They're not going to want to teach you how to put them in. They're going to say, oh, we can do it for a cheap price. But there's other things that they don't do that they'll teach you. So I don't know what projects you were taking. So it's Home Depot, Lowe's, et cetera. They do millions. They sell millions of products. So there's so many different things that they sell. I don't know if we're talking about garden sprinklers, or we're talking about cabinetry, or we're talking about closet stuff, or we're talking about ceiling fans, or we're talking about hanging door handles on your appliances. There are so many different classes and things that they do. So it's very simple. You just have to find out what do they teach and what do they not teach. That's it. And then it's location specific. Some locations do things that other locations don't do.
I wanted to have cabinets put in my home.
Well, that makes sense. They sell cabinets.
I was told I need to have certain things to put in my home to have the cabinets put in. I wanted to have a cabinetry in my kitchen, in my bathroom, in my garage. And I had to go through a long process to have it done. It was not so simple. Can you explain?
Well, like I was saying a second ago, Home Depot sells, that's one of their biggest money makers, is selling their own custom cabinets. They have people that they pay to go out to your house and install their cabinets. So I doubt highly if they're going to teach a class teaching you that. But it's all about the language. If you walked into Home Depot and said, hey, I'm buying the cabinets to put in my house myself, what do I need? They're going to have to tell you because they want to sell it to you, right? They sell everything to install the cabinets. So if you tell them you are doing the work yourself, period, you want to speak to someone to tell me what brackets, what screws do I need? What tape measure do I need? They're going to take you to those aisles and show you. They have no choice because they got to sell it to you. Now, of course, they may try to say, oh, well, we can do it too. And then you ask them, well, how much are you going to charge me? Oh, we're going to charge you $22,000. Well, my budget is $3,000. Are you going to do it for $3,000? Yes or no? No, we can't afford it. We can get it down to $15,000 or whatever. Well, I only got $3,000, so I need you to tell me what is the rest of the stuff I need. That's how simple that becomes. They can't make you have that extra money.
I want to thank the caller for her questions. Hopefully you answered her questions. And we're coming down to the end of the hour. TJ, do you have any classes coming up, any seminars that you're going to be sharing with us? Please give your final comments, my king. And, of course, we're going to have to be back for, part 4. And before I forget, let me just interject real quick. For those of you who are calling on the line the first time, welcome. And if you're here on a regular basis, if you want to get on today's Entrepreneurs text message, please dial 323-672-4949. Text the word today to 323-672-4949. Final comments, my king.
This weekend on February 26th, I'll be in Pasadena, California at the Alkebulan Center. We're having a mixer, and I'll be the keynote speaker talking about entrepreneurship there.
That's in Washington. I know where that is.
Absolutely.
What time?
Absolutely. At 4 p.m. So come on out. I'll be giving an amazing presentation as well on solutions. February 5th, I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wait. You said February 5th. You mean March 5th.
I'm sorry, March 5th. My apologies. March 5th, I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona at a hair show talking about gentrification in the hair community with business owners. Then March 10th, I'll be in Palmdale at the Stream Kids Expo. But I can be reached at area code 310-619-3954.
One more time.
Oh, I can be reached at area code 310-619-3954, or my website is thomastjloftin.com. My social media is Thomas TJ Loftin, Facebook, YouTube, and please click like and follow.
Great. Well, we've come to another end of today's Entrepreneur. I am your host, Andrea James. I thank you for the questions, for the people that called in, or the people that are just listening around the world. And in closing out, breaking chains of poverty, creating bonds of prosperity, which we've done today. Stay in the black, financially that is, by any means necessary, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you.